Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Follow Suit, Fashion Unfiltered. Follow suit is a mantra, which means to follow the suit. And as you follow it, you're going to come to realize the suit is a role model and a mentor whose purpose is to give guidance to the young men of this community and as well as to society. And it is my goal to honor and salute some of the individuals who not only put on the suit, but they wear it well. Hence the point, my guest today. Good afternoon, and as the intro said, this is Follow Suit, Fashion Unfiltered. My guest today is Chris Conway. How you doing, brother?
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you could take time out and come up on the show. I know it's been a long time coming,
Right.
but we here, so let's get rolling.
Appreciate
you. You know, the
yes,
show's about trying to inspire young men to dress for success and play the part and dress the part of a man. And you're one of the people that I noticed who do it well, so I had to get you up on the show.
Appreciate you.
And so we're going to get rolling. We're going to talk a little bit about fashion and who inspired you first, and then we're going to roll into everything else. Would that work?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your show, your dime.
Okay.
My
sounds
time.
Good. Sounds good. Okay. You got on a very nice suit.
Thank
you. Put
you.
together real well. You came and represented. So who inspired you with your fashion sense?
I think it was, inspired by, stories I heard of my dad, my father. My father was, a well-respected figure in Boston back in the, 60s and 70s. And I heard a lot of stories about him. I never met him, but I heard he was a great man. And, he was sharp. He liked to dress the part. These are stories that I was told. So I would say I was inspired by, hearing stories of my father.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I see you have on a nice pattern of window pane. Do you have a particular style or pattern you like to wear when it comes to picking out your suits?
Nah, I just, I think it's something that, is, innately in me to, dress well, because I know I put it together so well, and I don't even know how I do it. I just know how to, coordinate very well.
Yeah. We got to coordinate. You know how we do it. Us brothers do it. We got to coordinate our people.
Yes, sir. Makes me feel good, and back in the days, when I came up in my neighborhood, you had to, we didn't dress like this, but you at least had to have your pants creased, and you looked in the mirror, you made sure that you weren't wrinkled. You came outside with some type of honor, and it made you feel good. It's like your first representation to people is your best representation. So I like to look good.
That's right.
Me personally.
Yeah, shout out to my coach, Coach Wilson. Like I always said, he always told us you never get a second chance to make that first impression.
Right, exactly.
So here's a key question I always ask all the men who come up here, because it goes back into the home. When it came to tying a tie, who taught you how to tie your tie?
Wow, that's funny you asked that, because my queen just asked me that earlier. I think I just learned by trial and error. I taught myself.
Oh yeah, self-taught.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's funny, because probably 80% of the men that come up here, they say their mother taught them. My mother taught me.
Oh, wow.
And that's because the father was absent in the home.
Right.
So this is part of what we're trying to bring that back, of having the father in the home and having the young man see a man, the image of a man.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why I always ask that question, and it's fascinating. I get a lot of the same answer. Self-taught, I just put it on and tried and kept trying in the mirror, or they say their mother.
So you never really got the answer of the person saying their father?
Yeah, there was, I think one or two guests might have said it was their father who taught him. One was his grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was fortunate enough to teach my son how to tie his tie. Cycle breakers. I like to look at myself as, from where I come from, as a cycle breaker, because for generations my family was, into negative illegal activity in Boston and Massachusetts. So I feel that I broke the cycle of that image of my family. So moving forward, my son can, teach his children how to, not cut corners with selling drugs and doing illegal activities to have a means of livelihood. So I was fortunate enough to teach my son how to tie a tie.
That's great. I got four sons myself. They're all men now. I ain't teaching none of them,
Right.
So
Well,
That's great that you had a chance to do it. The mistakes I made in my life growing up, I didn't get a chance to teach none of them.
Right.
You know, and they're all grown men now. So, you know, I salute you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't get to teach my, funny you say that, because I didn't get to teach my first son, how to tie a tie. I was, missing a lot in his life. But I keep hearing the things now. You're available now. We are available now.
Right.
To be, in our children's lives, as upright citizens, showing them something better, something that we could pass on and they could pass on to their children.
That's right, and that's what we're here at Follow Suit trying to do. We're trying to pass on, inspire,
right. Follow suit,
and like you said, change, cycle breaker, break that cycle. So now let's spin into Chris Conway, and who is Chris Conway, and what does Chris Conway have going on?
Well, I'm just, first and foremost, a black African American man from, Massachusetts, Boston. I came up, on the rough side of the fence. A lot of uphill battles and challenges that I had to overcome before I got to where I am now. But you know what they say, whatever you go through, it makes you who you are today.
That's right.
So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to provide services to my community, because for so many years I corrupted my community by, selling drugs and gang banging and, just doing things I wasn't supposed, unmoralized, uncivilized things. So today I feel like I'm a civilized individual, and I have some type of knowledge of self and knowledge of God.
That's great. So we made sure we said that, right? The name of your foundation program is Out for Good?
Out for Good. Trying to stand on that, trying to teach other people how to stand on that, being out for good. And it has a twofold. Our agency is, doing out for good. We're out to do good and provide, some great services. And we're also out helping our, people that come to us stay out for good, stay out of jail for good, stay out of drugs for good, and just stay away from negative thinking and things that can, tear down a person's, moral values.
Right. So do you have an age group that you work with, or is just adults up, or young youth up to adults?
I work with, youth, adults. I don't discriminate. We try to help everybody that, is still stuck somewhere mentally, whether they're in jail or out of jail, whether they're on drugs or off drugs. We're trying to, help them change the narratives of their lives so they can, do the right thing.
Okay. Where did you come up with the concept for this program?
Out for Good was, as you mentioned earlier, somebody gave me the name. And that person, we was just sitting on the couch having a regular conversation, and he said, if I ever had a chance, I would name my program Out for Good. And he went down the line saying, out for good, helping people stay out for good, and the company's out to do good. So I was like, wow. So that's where the seed was planted. Somebody gave me the name. So when I had the opportunity to start a company, that's what I named it, Out for Good, because, that's what I want to stand on. I want to stay out for good. I don't, want to go back into that belly of that beast.
Right. It's funny, when I thought about it the other day too, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to bring the brother up here and his program Out for Good. And, we met behind the wall, right. In that belly of the beast is when we first met, even though we were from the same streets. Right. But we met in the belly of the beast. And it was funny when I thought about it, because people always say, when I got in trouble at myself, it was at a younger time, and I didn't go right into prison. And then I always think if I'd have went to prison at a young time, I probably would have went right back to prison again. And I know that cycle played with you a little bit, and then you said out for good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I started my life of going inside the judicial system started when I was a teenager. And I believe, it's all designed. I do a little research and studying, and some of the things I study is, the judicial system and injustices that's being done to our young African American boys. And, it starts from the school to prison pipeline, starting from the school conditioning, our young black boys to, be okay to be confined in a, penal institution But for me, it started when I was younger. I went to DYS, and from DYS, it's nothing about rehabilitation when you go to jail or go to these programs. It seems like you just go to hook up with another person to be a better criminal.
Exactly.
Learn other crimes.
The same thing. Yeah. we get in there at a young age, that's all we do is think we're going to come on and be a better criminal than we was the first time.
We hook up with somebody from this block, and you start meeting friends, and you see them on the outside, and you guys get together, and before you know it, you're doing crimes.
Right. So I know learning those lessons that along the way makes very meaningful when you put that stamp on that out for good. And I appreciate that you started that program. And I salute you for that program.
Okay.
So what else you got on the table? I know you got other things on your plate. Tell me a little bit about what else you're working with.
So right now we just launched a nonprofit organizations part of Out for Good. It's Out for Good Behavioral Health Services, and we're trying to provide some type of group structure for people getting out of jail and people that's trying to get off of substance. So we're trying to put some groups together so we can share that type of group experience, because you don't really see too much of that group settings in our community. So I'm trying to, provide that type of group services to, men, women, whoever wants to come to the program.
Okay. Where's your program located at? How can someone get in contact with you?
So you can check out our website, first and foremost, at www.outforgoodbehavioralservices.org.
Okay.
But we're located, our office is located at 925 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass.
Nice. That's nice. So you up and running, everything's going good. So I know another thing, because we have our little pre-interview when we talk or whatever. So you're doing something with a documentary about your neighborhood?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. We're doing a documentary about how Adidas Park started. And a lot of people don't really know too much about, the threes, why you see a lot of people throwing up threes, and why sometimes, people are so dead set on just wearing Adidas. And it started from this one neighborhood on the corner of Intervale and Normandy, where 5 or 6 guys got together and started throwing sneakers in a tree, and we lived by that brand.
Right.
Yeah, so we're just trying to tell a story of how that started, and how you see so many people dedicated to Adidas in Boston, and the signification, the symbol behind the 3 stripes, this right here. Because people don't even know what this means, but they're always throwing it up.
Right. Yeah. So so they got to check out this documentary that you got on tap and get the whole story about it.
Yeah, it's called Blood on Our Shoes. So be on the lookout for it. Hopefully we'll get it up and running. In 2023.
Sounds good. So once again, give them the people to spill the name of your program so we can tie up this show.
Out for Good Behavioral Health Services, providing substance abuse and reentry services in the greater Boston area. We also provide Corey consultation and Notary Public. And remember, your Corey is not your story.
Sounds good. I like that statement. So last question, and we're wrapping up the show.
Yes, sir.
A young man's coming to you right now. He's 17. He's at his wit's end. He don't know what to do. The gang life is here. The drug life is here. But he don't want it. And he's asking you for help. What kind of advice can you give him?
Stay true to what you believe in. If you want to, move out of the gang life, just put your mind to it. Surround yourself with some positive people that are doing positive stuff. If you're, used to hanging with your gang buddies, try to move yourself away from that and hang with somebody that's going to work or somebody that's going to school. Hang with, the winners. Try to hang with the winners and try to, get up under the wing or the tutelage of someone, like myself or you, that can guide them, in the right direction.
Right. Okay. I appreciate having you here. Like I said, this is Follow Suit Fashion Unfiltered, and our job here is to salute and honor men who are in our community, active in our community, and putting the work in for our community to inspire the young men out there to change their minds and their way and have a better life. And I appreciate you coming through, brother. It's my pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, brother.
And hopefully I'll see you again. I'll be on the lookout for that documentary.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. That's a wrap. We'll be back with more great episodes of Follow Suit Fashion Unfiltered.